Hey, it's CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and you have to check out the fastest rising podcast in all of professional wrestling. I'm talking about the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. If you're looking for pay-per-view predictions, if you're looking for pay-per-view reviews, if you're looking for interviews, check out the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. Crash and Burn!
What's up? Welcome back to the fastest rising podcast in professional wrestling, the one and only Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. I have made my return. I'm going to be your host for this evening, the assassin Josh Dinker here. It's been a while since I've been on. I've just been busy with, fucking American life. And, yeah, I'm back now, so... yeah, let's get with it. We have AEW Fyter Fest that we're predicting night 1 and night 2. There's only one match for night 2 right now, but if you watch our review episode coming up after Fyter Fest, airs and everything, you will see that there will be more matches added. So I'd like to bring in Jason.
Yes, sir. Mr. Josh Danker makes his return. I know he has been on for a couple weeks. Yeah. I know man's been busy, but
I'm back.
But he'll try to get back into the podcast grind. He'll be back on the Moshcast sometime soon. Yes. But as of right now, as part of AEW's welcome back tour, since they're back on the road.
Yep.
Their first show back on the road AEW Road Rage are having already. But up next is Fyter Fest. Yep. And for the next 2 weeks in the state of Texas.
Yep. For the Lone Star State, you guys get Fyter Fest for 2 nights.
July 14th, July 21st. And after those 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the show.
Yep.
Then after that is Fight for the Fallen.
Yep.
And then we have the whole Money in the Bank stuff, too.
All right, so let's get into the matches for night 1, which is July 14th. The Wednesday first match I have here is Darby Allin with Sting versus Ethan Page with Scorpio Sky in the first ever coffin match. I'm really super excited for this. So I like how they're not calling it a casket match. They're calling it a coffin match, which actually it's the same thing. Coffin, casket, it's just another word. I'm actually looking forward to this. I'm guessing it's like the standard stipulation where you put your opponent in the coffin. It's kind of like a buried alive match, but except you just put your opponent in the coffin. Now, I'm enjoying the rivalry between these two, with Scorpio and Ethan Page with Darby and Sting. I'm really enjoying the rivalry between them two. So if I had to choose who I would want to win, I'm going to go with Darby Allin because this is his kind of match. Coffin drop is his thing. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling he's going to take the first victory in this match. If they ever do a rematch, have Darby win the first match, have Ethan win the second match. But I'm going to go with Darby Allin to win this. This is his match, his stipulation, so, yeah.
I'm going for the same reason as you. I'm going for Darby Allin because, as you said, this is his type of match.
Yep.
In AEW. At least they're not calling it a casket match. It's a coffin match for
AEW. It's more like Jim Ross fucking up calling it WWE Dynamite.
Oh, come on. Leave him alone. He already got death threats over it. Come on.
I know. You people gotta understand. It was a mistake.
He's old. What do you expect? He's almost in his 70s.
Now. Come on. Leave the man alone. What the fuck?
Come on.
So the next match we have is for the FTW World Title.
Oh, let's go.
Brian Cage is going up against Ricky Starks. Brian Cage is the FTW champion, which I like how when Brian Cage was first announced on AEW, when he first signed with the company, I like how they brought that title back from ECW because that was originally Taz's belt from his ECW days. And I like how they're doing it with a younger face like Brian Cage as the champion. I'm thinking this, if they're going to have Brian Cage go on his own eventually, because if you see the arguing and bickering him and Ricky Starks are having, so I guess this is where the match will lead into. I love both these guys. I actually met Ricky Starks
nice, right?
June 19th.
And he was cool, I bet.
Really cool guy. I mean, he's one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. Hoping they make his figure.
One of the best Team Taz members.
Yeah. I have to go with the Machine, Brian Cage. I feel like, he's got more muscle, more agility in this match. I feel like this is, they're going to not take the title off him soon. So I'm going to go with Cage on this one. I mean, I love Brian Cage. He's one of the best wrestlers out there in AEW right now. Hopefully a future world champion, in my opinion, but I'm going with him to retain the title.
I'm going for either one because both of these stars are great Team Taz members, and so I'm going to let these two fight it out.
Yeah. It's going to be a good match.
I'm sure.
More matches are going to be announced on night 2, probably this week on Dynamite, as they're going to be from Texas. Probably on night 1, they're going to announce some more matches leading up to night 2. So the next match for night 1 is a singles match, Christian Cage versus the leader of the Hardy family office, Big Money Matt Hardy. These are two of my favorite guys right now. Christian Cage and Matt Hardy are two of my favorites, pretty much. I like where this rivalry is going. I mean, Matt Hardy's doing his thing in AEW. I really like what he's been, doing in his creative state, like with the big money gimmick where he's a self-proclaimed billionaire, which he is because he gets paid millions of dollars from AEW. But I like how he's recruiting all these, good talent like the Butcher and Blade and the Bunny. Now they just recruited the H2. They also have Private Party on deck. So they have a lot of, guys that can be used well. So, and Christian Cage, I give Christian props at Double or Nothing for putting over Jungle Boy in that Battle Royal.
Oh, for sure.
And I like how Christian had a lot of respect for him because, Christian's a veteran. And,
and he's allowing these younger talent to showcase what they truly are.
Yeah. So if I had to go for who I want to win, I have to go with Christian. I have a
same here because of what I just said.
Yeah, and I have a feeling, he's been having the advantage after getting sneak attacks on Matt and the Hardy family office. So I'm going with Christian Cage to win this match.
Yeah.
So the next match is the returning Yuka Sakazaki for the first time since COVID, making her AEW return to Fyter Fest, going up against super bad girl Penelope Ford in a singles match. Now, AEW, one thing I will tell you is that you need to work on your women's division. You need to have more women on the roster. I mean, use the women you have on Elevation, or use the ones that come on Dark. They have a lot of indie women wrestlers that come on Dark, and they sign them to they allow them to do their thing. I mean, you have a lot of great women wrestlers out there on the indie scene. Like, you have a lot of them that make appearances on Dark and they show what they are. So, if I had to choose and I want to win, I'm going to go for Penelope Ford or Yuka Sakazaki. I really can't pick. I mean, I'm more of a fan of Penelope than Yuka, so I'm going to go with Penelope Ford.
For this
back.
Alright, so for this match, I'm gonna go for Yuka Sakazaki because it's her return match for the first time since the pandemic. So so I think she deserves to come back strong.
Yep. And the last match for night 1 is a match that is not for an AEW championship. It is for a New Japan title with two, I guess you could say one former IWGP star, one New Japan wrestler, and one current AEW and New Japan star. We have the return of Jon Moxley, who is still the current IWGP United States champion, going up against one half of the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, with Doc Gallows at his side. Probably the rest of the Elite are banned from ringside, I believe, because it only says here Doc Gallows is going to be in Anderson's corner. I felt like this was a match added out of nowhere because, I mean, I like to see Carl Anderson go for a singles title. I mean, I like the Good Brothers ever since New Japan and WWE. I felt like after their second run, they kind of got wasted and they kind of didn't know what to do with them. And I like how they transitioned over to Impact and won the tag titles. And I hope they do sign with AEW in the future. I mean, Tony Khan, he's the leader of the Forbidden Door, so any company, any stars from any company can come through that door and wrestle for AEW. If I had to choose, I want to win. I'm going with Moxley because Moxley's a big star now, and he just had a kid recently. So congrats to him and Renee Young on their birth of their daughter. I'm glad he's coming back to defend the title. So I'm going with Moxley. He's by far my second favorite wrestler on the roster. So I'm gonna go with Mox. I love the Good Brothers. Don't get me wrong, but
Same here.
I see Carl Anderson winning a singles title.
So since Moxley had a kid recently with Renee Young, I think it's cool to have Moxley retain in order to make Renee and their newborn proud.
Yep. Yeah. So that is the last match for night one. So night two.
Now we take our time machine to July 21st.
Yep. Night 2 is July 21st. There's only one match so far for night 2. There'll be more matches probably announced this week on night 1 of Fyter Fest on Dynamite this week on TNT. So first
Women's World Championship match.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting one. I feel like it's gonna be a rematch of putting the same person who won the title previous, but it's gonna be Britt Baker with Revel going up against the native beast Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero in a singles match for the AEW Women's World Title. I had a feeling this match was going to be booked for the pay-per-view because of the rivalry these two are having. Definitely Britt Baker is my favorite wrestler on the women's division right now. I feel like she's the fucking best at what she does. She's the best heel in AEW women's wrestling right now. I love Nyla Rose. Definitely one of the best wrestlers out there, and especially for all you fucking haters. She's as Joe Nyla Rose is a transgender wrestler. For all you fucking haters out there, look, if they're not transgender, if they're regular people at birth, they could still do wrestling. So
they're still human after all. So don't be hating on the LGBT community.
Yeah. I respect Nyla Rose for what she does. She's one of the
Same
best.
Here.
She's very down to earth, very humble. So,
and she's full of talent too.
Yes. And so if I had to choose, I want to win. It's kind of too early to take the title off Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Tony Schiavone's best friend, and I really like to see Nyla win it again in the future, just not right now, because number one, this is Britt Baker's time. It was a long-awaited title reign for her. It took her a long time to get to the title picture, which obviously I kind of knew they were going to put the title on her at some point. They just needed the right time and the right place. So I'm going with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the win to retain the title. Because it's too early yet to take it off Britt. Let Britt have the title for as long as she has it.
Yeah, so for the same reason as you, I'm going for Britt Baker because she won the title back at Double or Nothing. So it's a little too early to take it off of her, so let her have it for a while.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. So that's
until at least All Out or Full Gear.
Yeah. So that's the only match so far for night 2. I'm actually going to make a couple match predictions right here on this episode for night 2. I have a feeling they're going to have they're going to book random matches, that matches we never seen. I kind of do want to see, Cody possibly have a match. They're probably going to put Cody somewhere. I like to see a match, though. I want to see this in AEW because of the back and forth feud these two are having. It's two guys from both the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. I actually do want to see this match eventually happen. Hopefully they put it on the card. I definitely want to see Sammy Guevara go up against Shawn Spears. Because that's been a big thing right now as terms of the rivalries. And another match that I want to see, I'm thinking this one is probably going to happen as well because they're teasing a big match. kind of for the world title picture. I'm kind of seeing Kenny Omega facing Hangman Page for the title. And it's about time you put Hangman in that spot. Hangman, I'm telling you, he's the number 1 ranked wrestler on the roster. He's number 1 in the win-loss column. Hangman deserves it. So book that shit for night 2. And you can see that they're teasing it because the Dark Order was like, oh, it's one of your former friends, Kenny. And you know it's Hangman because Hangman and Kenny won the tag titles and they held it for 200 days. Then Kenny Omega became this self-punk heel thinking he's hot shit, which, you know what? I love Kenny Omega. He's definitely the best wrestler of our generation. And he's definitely the greatest right now of our generation because the guy puts on 5-star classics. But just because he's the belt collector and all doesn't mean anything. So, you know, I hope they put those matches on the card. Kenny versus Hangman, Shawn Spears versus Sammy Guevara. Those are 2 good matches you can put on night 2. And definitely you can create some more matches that we haven't seen yet. So we'll see what happens on Fyter Fest Night 1 this week. Stay tuned for Night 2 as well.
Stay tuned for the review for the show.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a match we should definitely get is the Nightmare Family versus the Factory. That's a match that I want to see because it's like QT Marshall, you were a part of that gang. Then you turned on them to make your own stable with guys who are in the Nightmare Family that are young and upcoming, like Aaron Solo, Nick Hamarato, Anthony Gogo, which, in my opinion, I agree with our Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast member Lucas with Anthony Gogo losing at Double or Nothing to AEW's Triple H. Just kidding. I just did it for the reference. Cody. I mean, I love Cody and all, but people gotta shut up sometimes. He's not Triple H. He's not like the boss who books himself. Just Cody's the man. Get over it.
Get over it.
But
you
I agree with
boss.
I agree with Lucas that Anthony Ogogo should have won that to get a hot start in AEW, but we'll see where his career takes him.
So now, it's time for our outros. We get the episode wasn't that long, but it's still the predictions.
Yeah, it's due to the lack of matches that they have so far, but
Thanks for watching this episode of the Crash and Burn Wrestling Podcast. We did some predictions for AEW's Fyter Fest, which is their second and third show back on the road as part of their Welcome Back tour. Subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to the Moshcast, where Josh will be making his return soon, probably on our next recording, which will be the Bring with the Horizon That's a Spirit episode. So yeah, we'll see you guys then. Our next recording in terms of this podcast is the predictions for Money in the Bank, because WWE's back on the road. The Thunderdome era is over.
Well, this coming Monday will be the final Raw in the Thunderdome.
Either way, it was taped anyway, so it's technically over.
Yeah, so the Thunderdome era is done. Thank you for having from no fans during this whole era to a digital screen with digital...
to having live fans at WrestleMania.
And then now having live fans back at our main shows like Raw, SmackDown, possibly NXT if NXT comes to the area for pay-per-views again. So,
and an announcement, I'm going to SmackDown September 10th in New York City.
New York City, hometown.
Yes, sir. So stay tuned. Maybe some hosts will be meeting up.
Yeah. Stay tuned to Instagram, social media. You guys will see everything. Anyways, I'll get to my outro. Thank you guys for watching. My long-awaited Return the Assassin is super glad to see all of you back here once again. I will be back on more every Friday, Saturday on the Moshcast and Crash and Burn. You guys will see me more often now that everything regarding personal health and helping friends in need is all over with, and time to get my mind and focus on podcasting between music and wrestling. You guys can follow all the members on both podcasts on social media, and follow both podcasts as well for updates on episodes and a lot of other cool stuff. Tell us in the comments if you guys are excited for both AEW and WWE coming back on the road.
Well, AEW is already back on the road pretty much.
Well, AEW already had a hot skip and a jump. Tell us how you guys are feeling about Money in the Bank, WWE going back on the road. Thank you AEW and WWE for still putting on shows during the pandemic.
During quarantine, we're during this
even
tough
though
time.
We had to start in the Performance Center where there was no fans.
And AEW's always been at Daly's place.
And,
well, aside from that month in April 2020, they were somewhere else.
Yeah, and thank you guys for sticking with us with no fans at the Performance Center from the start, then moving to the Thunderdome with LED boards with fans.
They were like at 3 venues during the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Amway Center, Tropicana Field, and that Yuengling Center, if that's how you say it.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for that. WWE and AEW, we're looking forward to being...
NXT has been at the Performance Center, the Capitol Wrestling Center.
AKA the Performance Center. They just like to give a throwback, vibe. I like to shout out NXT real quick for the throwback stuff that they've been doing with a lot of names that you don't really hear much in wrestling anymore. The Great American Bash.
Revamping the Performance Center into the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Oh, hell yeah. So...
And even though they've been at Full Sail first.
And guys, stay tuned for my social medias because I will be announcing when I will be returning to both podcasts. Next week, I will tell you guys the episodes I will be coming back on, and who knows? A big surprise may happen. I might show up out of nowhere, or I may show up during the full episode. I don't know. You guys have to find out. Wait and see, because I got my eyes on both of y'all. So, stay tuned for our episodes. Subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram and social media.
Be American. I'm kidding.
Be an American.
That sounded wrong.
Be proud of your flag. Wave it to show your country love. I know 4th of July passed, but fuck me in the head. So yeah, just be proud that you are American or Canadian. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter where you're from, as long as you're happy.
Yes. So we'll see you guys next episode. I think we babbled our mouths for a long period of time. I'll see y'all. We will see you all in the next episode. Stay tuned for Money in the Bank predictions. We'll see you guys then.
Bye-bye.
Crush and burn!